In our first talk, we described what I call the glide down, the tune in which the first stressed syllable of the sentence is said on a fairly high note. The following stressed syllables are said gradually lower and lower until you come to the last stressed syllable. This syllable starts on a fairly low note and then falls down to the lowest note possible. The whole sentence glides gradually down.
The whole sentence glides gradually down. The whole sentence glides gradually down.
Yes, just like that. But I want to point out to you that in a sentence like this, which has 5 stressed syllables, it's not very easy to make the voice go gradually lower at each stressed syllable.
No, if you're not careful, you'll find that your voice has fallen much too low in the middle of the sentence, when you want to go still lower.
Exactly. But there's a remedy for that. Listen again to the same sentence said in a slightly different way.
The whole sentence glides gradually down. The whole sentence glides gradually down.
Did you notice the difference? After the word sentence, the voice goes up a little instead of down, as it normally would in a glide down, so that the word glides is on a slightly higher note. Listen again.
The whole sentence glides gradually down.
There, did you hear that? It's just a little trick we have for modifying the glide down in a longer sentence than usual, when there are 5 or 6 or 7 stressed syllables. We start off quite normally on a high note, and the second stressed syllable, sentence, is on a lower note, just as it is in the ordinary glide down. Then the little rise occurs, and after that the tune continues again exactly as before.
There's one point I think we ought to mention, and that is that when the voice rises in the middle of the sentence, it doesn't go up as high as the first stressed syllable.
Oh no, it's only quite a small rise, and you mustn't make it too big or it'll sound wrong. Listen to it just once more.
The whole sentence glides gradually down.
We'll call that tune the interrupted glide down, since it's simply a slight variation on our normal glide down. And by the way, it's used for exactly the same kinds of sentences.
That is to say, plain statements, questions beginning with an interrogative word, what or why or how, and so on, commands and exclamations.
And now I want to introduce a new idea. I want to show you another way to treat these sentences. What happens, do you think, when you emphasize a special word in one of these sentences? When you pick out a particular word which you want to make stand out and sound specially important in your sentence?
Well, you gave a very good example of that when you said a moment ago, and now I want to introduce a new idea. And now I want to introduce a new idea. And also in your next sentence, I want to show you another way to treat these sentences. I want to show you another way to treat these sentences.
Oh yes, that's just the sort of thing I meant. You see, listeners, in that first sentence,
and now I want to introduce a new idea.
In that sentence, I picked out the word new as being the most important word. And in order to make you listeners realize its importance, I used a different tune to make it more prominent. Listen to the same sentence said firstly as a glide down, which is quite possible since it's a plain normal statement, and secondly as I said it, with special emphasis on the word new. First then as an ordinary glide down.
And now I want to introduce a new idea.
And now with special emphasis on the word new.
And now I want to introduce a new idea.
Just once more, the two together this time.
Now I want to introduce a new idea. And now I want to introduce a new idea.
You see, the two sentences are exactly the same until they get to this word new. They both start with the words,
and now I want to introduce a...
But in the glide down, new is on a slightly lower note, and the last syllable of idea falls down to the bottom.
And now I want to introduce a new idea.
But as I said it, it was new idea. New idea.
And now I want to introduce a new idea.
What happens is that new begins on a very high note, even higher than at the start of the sentence, and then falls quickly right down to the bottom of the voice.
New. New.
In that way, it's made much more prominent, and therefore its meaning becomes more important. I wanted you to be quite sure that my idea was new, not old, you see, but new. And the word idea, which is not important, is said on a very low note without any stress at all.
New idea. New idea.
Lesson 2 continued. So the rule is this. The tune is just the same as a glide down until you get to the word which is specially important. This word, or the stressed syllable if the word has more than one syllable, starts very high and falls all the way down to the bottom of the voice. Any syllables after this word are said on a very low note. Now, I'll just repeat that. The tune is just the same as a glide down until you get to the word which is specially important. This word, or the stressed syllable, if the word has more than one syllable, starts very high and falls all the way down to the bottom of the voice. Any syllables after this word are said on a very low note.
Now, what about that second sentence I mentioned? I want to show you another way to treat these sentences. Another way to treat these sentences. How does our rule apply to that?
Well, in this case, the specially important word is another. Not the same way, but a different way. Another way. And so the word another has its stressed syllable starting very high and falling right down, as I said before. And all the rest of the sentence is said on a low note because it's less important.
Another way to treat these sentences. Another way to treat these sentences.
I think we'll call this tune the high jump because it jumps right down from top to bottom quickly.
The high jump. Right. But our time is up now, listeners. We shall have more to say about the high jump next time.
Yes. We might almost say that we'll show you yet another way to treat these sentences. Goodbye.